The 7 children on the bus were all taken to hospital with minor injuries and are expected to be okay. The 2 adults on the bus and the 1 adult in the car were also taken to hospital and were listed in stable condition. The children were treated and released. The condition of the adults is not known. Urquhart commends the bus driver for her actions to protect the children.
That man came through that intersection so fast. There was no time for anybody to react, but yet she did. He could have taken out the back of that bus, and she made sure he hit her instead of the back of that bus.
Police say the driver of the SUV may have had a medical emergency. They say no charges have been laid yet, but they are investigating. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
And now we're going to take you live to the Public School Board office in Windsor, and that's where the CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa is tonight. Jen, this is the first meeting where people are not allowed to watch that public school board meeting in person. Now it looks like they're setting up outside instead. What's happening right now?
Yeah, Jason, there are dozens of people that are around me right now, and some of these people are against the board meeting that's going to be happening inside of the board in about an hour at 7 o'clock. People here have signs saying, you know, if they can silence us today, they can silence you tomorrow. They're frustrated that this has been closed to them, saying what happens in those meetings impacts their children's lives. Just a few minutes ago, I spoke with an organizer who gathered some of the people here today. He's also an organizer for Parents Rights Group. Here's what he had to say to me.
You're not going to get anywhere in these debates, and these debates just are not happening in Windsor. They're happening all across Ontario. They're happening all across Canada. We need to have these crucial conversations. So I really feel that shutting down the public, it just makes people harden in their stances. Usually when you have a debate, you have to have respect for each other, and some of the stuff I've seen, this lady here was disrespected badly 2 times, right? And she's just a concerned parent coming out 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to talk and just, you know what I mean, for 5 minutes, because that's all you're allowed to speak.
Some of the trustees have told us that the decision to close these meetings to in-person visitors is temporary, and that they're doing it because there's been inappropriate comments made, even some threats that have happened. All of this has some trustees and board administration feeling unsafe. So some of this stems from conversations that have been had around the gender expression policy. That's where students of any age can identify how they want, use their pronouns and gender that they want, and staff at the schools don't have to disclose to their parents what that is. So if you see here, there's a group here to one side of me that is with the Parents for Parents Rights Group. I'm going to show the camera here, and they want to see that gender expression policy changed, where parents are made aware of their child's identity. They have said this loudly at these board meetings, but say it's never been threatening. And now I'm just going to direct your attention right over here to behind me. There's kind of a counter protest that's been happening. A lot of people with pride flags, and this group here is to show that they support the board's gender identity policies and also support the LGBTQ community.
They're welcome to their beliefs. I will never try to change somebody. I ask for the same respect in return, and I ask for the same respect for our children.
A lot of people there, Jen, a lot of chanting, it sounds like, as well. Now, you also said this was a temporary measure in terms of keeping people out in person from those board meetings. How does the board plan to resolve this?
Yeah, so the board is looking to put in a safety plan. It's something that they're going to implement. So essentially what they're looking to do is look at what kind of behavior won't be tolerated. If someone is asked to leave, who will remove that person if they're being inappropriate? They're also looking at physical changes that can be made to the space, as staff actually sit with their backs to the public, so that often makes them feel unsafe. It is unclear, though, when this plan could come into effect. So tonight, it's that final board meeting of the year that is taking place here at 7 o'clock. The board has said that if people want to tune in, they can go online, and that can be found on the board's website. Jason.
All right, thanks so much, Jen. The CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa reporting live tonight. A relief for transit riders as a new express route starts next week. The 418X is expected to help with overcrowded buses. The CBC's TJ Deere spoke with transit riders to see how they feel about the new route.
Sometimes, Transit Windsor buses are so full that they skip stops, asking riders to wait for the next bus.
One sees it sucks because when sometimes we get late for our works and sometimes we get late for our classes, so I think it's good to start the new route.
Transit Windsor's executive director explains why.
Last year, this time, we were going to be hopeful if we had hit 90% or 100% of pre-pandemic ridership. We're at well over 100% right now.
Enter the new 418X route. It starts at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare in the West End, making its way around Sandwich, through the University of Windsor, turning on College Avenue, heading south on Crawford Avenue, before turning left on Tecumseh Road and going all the way to Tecumseh Mall. The route is similar to the existing 1C route, which some people say doesn't serve them well.
The 1C, which is very crowded like few of the times, because of the international students increasing day by day over here in Canada, especially in Windsor. Like whenever we traveled in 1C, it's we have to just stand and we don't get a seat.
Transit Windsor's schedule says a one-way trip on the new route will take 42 minutes. Buses will run every half hour from 6:30 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. The route will not be in service on weekends. The 418X will be the second express route operated by Transit Windsor. The 518X route runs between St. Clair College and Tecumseh Mall. Another transit rider says the addition of the new route is a good thing.
People on the Far East, if they were going to St. Clair College, it'd take forever, like going downtown and then transferring, and this route will be good for people.
However, as the service expands, a transit advocacy group wants to see a second garage for buses added to the transit infrastructure. Windsor City Council approved a $100 million transit upgrade in November last year, but did not approve a plan to build a second garage. Craig says he's excited about the new route, but acknowledged the strain the expanding network is putting on the service's one garage.
Either an expansion or a new facility, is something that as we continue to grow will be an inevitability. But with the funding that's been allocated to this facility, I think we're going to be able to do some great things with that.
The city invested $63 million more in April to purchase 24 new buses and upgrade the existing fleet to extend its lifespan. The new 418X route will begin service on Monday. TJ Deere, CBC News, Windsor.
Tenants across the country are being squeezed by higher rental prices. But over the past 4 years, the largest increase in average rent has been just up the 401 in London. Philip de Montigny tells us why and what's being done about it.
Jonathan Sanderson has been renting the same apartment for 23 years. He's now at risk of losing his home.
I am stuck, so if anything happens to my apartment, I'm on ODSP. That money can only do so much.
He receives about $1,200 a month from Ontario's Disability Support Program. But in London, rent alone averages to more than $1,700, an 83% jump over the past 4 years. That increase far outpaces any other Canadian city.
Rent's unaffordable with the extremely high rents outside of the range of ODSP. It's just like it would be impossible.
But how did it get so bad so fast? For one, London's population is booming, beefing up rental demand. International students made up a good chunk of the city's 3% growth last year. And despite higher interest rates, this mortgage broker says buyers are still coming from the GTA to pick up rental properties.
It might cost me more to buy a rental property. It might cost me more to carry that property, but I could charge a lot more as well.
According to Statistics Canada, real estate investors now own about a third of all housing in London.
That is to make money on the backs of the people who live in those properties.
This tenants advocacy group says this is crowding out first-time homebuyers who end up renting for longer and basically paying their landlord's mortgage.
It's like pouring gas on an already raging inferno.
What's more, new construction just isn't keeping up with the population boom.
What we're facing is an issue where the demand is drastically outstripping the supply, and that's increasing on an exponential rate.
This London MP says the city should explore new ways to get more units into the rental market. In Toronto, for instance, homeowners can now turn their houses into a multiplex.
We're going to have to need every single tool that's in our pocket. If it's something that is working in other cities, I think that's something that could also be considered in London.
The federal government has pledged $4 billion to build 100,000 new units across Canada by 2027. But due to the nature of projects and approvals, it can't say how many, if any, will be allocated to this region. Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, London.
Still to come here on CBC Windsor News Live at 6. We'll head back to Jennifer LaGrassa live later on in the program to check in on the latest with that protest right outside of the public school board. Also, sunshine over the next couple of days and then some rain. Your full weather forecast is coming up right after the break. Today marks World Refugee Day. Created by the United Nations, it aims to honor and celebrate refugees right around the world. The CBC Windsor's Tyler Clapp took a look at how it's being recognized locally.
Faumo Ahmed's journey took her from Somalia to Kenya before landing in Canada. She still remembers what life was like before she left home.
I remember like guns with like bombs, a lot of things happening. I even had to go through a moment where there was like a gun that landed in our house, like in the building. But like, thank God, nothing happened.
Now in Windsor, she works with women's enterprise skills training, helping those in positions she used to be in.
It like gives me opportunity to give it for the people that are younger than me right now to actually like say, oh, we actually do these things, and then you can, you know, learn from it.
Ahmed took in today's celebrations at Charles Clark Square, where various organizations aiming to help newcomers set up booths.
We use a home and family model. We come alongside them like a brother or sister, and we guide them through all the steps of the process.
More than 25 organizations were on hand to address the needs of newcomers to Windsor. These range from school boards, charities, and employment agencies. Yasmin Johair is the president of Cliffwek, an organization dedicated to settling refugees. She says this year's version partly came as a response to more people looking for a new home.
But this year, because we had more than 1,100 asylum seekers in the region, we decided to make it bigger as an event.
It wasn't all about business, however. Live performances were also held with music and dancing. With the support she's received, Ahmed has some words of advice for those who were in her shoes.
I would say just ask questions and always go to your community. If you're from whatever country you're from, look for your community because they know and they've been through the whole process, so they know already what you're going through, so it's not new to them.
Going forward, Ahmed plans to study early childhood education and continue her journey that started long ago. Tyler Clapp, CBC News, Windsor.
The Prime Minister offered his condolences for the Canadian Armed Forces members who were killed in a military helicopter crash overnight near Petawawa. That's located about 160 kilometers northeast of Ottawa. The Department of National Defence says 4 members were on board the military aircraft when it went down. They were on board as a part of a training exercise. 2 crew members were found by first responders and taken to hospital. D&D says it is now a search and recovery mission. About 50 military personnel have been searching by land and water. Ontario Provincial Police and local fire departments are also assisting. And time is running out to rescue people in a submersible that was headed for the wreck of the Titanic.
Right now, all of our efforts are focused on finding the sub. There's about 40 hours of breathable air left based on that initial report. Again, that was just the initial report based on 96 hours.
The U.S. Coast Guard spoke a little after 1 o'clock Eastern Time today. There's no word yet on whether the vessel is above or below the surface of the North Atlantic. The search is taking place more than 600 kilometers southeast of St. John's, Newfoundland. Canadian and American planes and boats are helping out. An underwater vessel is searching near where the submersible was on Sunday before it lost communication. 5 people are on board, including a British adventurer, a Titanic expert, a Pakistani businessman and his son, and the CEO of the company leading that expedition. And time now for a look at weather. Colette Kennedy joins us live for that. Colette, it's been a beautiful day, but I must say the, well, we call them shad flies up north, fish flies for people around here,
Yes.
I think, are coming in strong.
Yes, they are making their presence known, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Most folks don't, and especially when you're biking or trying to run, that can be nasty. But hey, this is what comes at this time of year. What time of year? Hey, looking at summer, the solstice for us tomorrow. So meteorological summer started at the beginning of the month because we tend to like to parcel it out and look at the data of the warmest months, June, July, August. But this is the solstice. So we see that tilt where we get the better sun angle, the highest position of the sun in the sky for us. And also we get more daylight, the longest day essentially. So how about 15 hours and about 16 minutes for Windsor, and that solstice 10:57 a.m. tomorrow. All right, so then we can say it's official. The current temperature is still hanging in there, 29 degrees. Chatham-Kent is at 26, at Sarnia at 21, and even Goderich, look at that, at 29. And you know, as warm as these temperatures are, they're not the warmest in the province. Let's come back to that in just a moment. We are looking, though, at some nice clear skies thanks to that ridge of high pressure. So, you know, we're doing okay in terms of the fire risk for southern Ontario as there's been some improvement. But where this ridge of high pressure is really building the heat is into northern Ontario. That's also where it's a problem because it has just been so dry. So the fire danger remains high. There are fires burning. And as we know, into the province of Quebec, just under 90 fires burning there. And look at what those readings are. So never mind the 29. How about 32 at Kapuskasing? 34, but last hour they were up at 36 in Winnipeg. They've got some thunderstorm activity there, so that's just brought the temperature down a little bit. So just some incredible heat in there. And then, of course, we factor in the humidity as well. Even our Humidex today for Windsor, 34. So there's a system to the south that as that ridge begins to move away and break down a little bit, it's going to throw some cloud cover our way. Not tomorrow. We're still into a lot of sun for tomorrow, but the winds will die off from where they were today. But it's for Thursday. We get some of that cloud cover coming in. There'll be a slight chance for some showers kind of Thursday night and then into Friday. But still, it is pretty slim. So not necessarily looking too bad as we head into the weekend and getting more into a pattern where we get those kind of afternoon showers or thunderstorms, the convective stuff because of some of the humidity. 19 tonight. This is tomorrow morning, about say 8 a.m. 21 degrees, and then we'll find those temperatures popping up. So back up to 29 for tomorrow, feeling closer to 33 to 35 with that Humidex value. A slight cool down in those numbers Thursday, Friday as we bring in some cloud cover and that chance of some showers. And don't worry too much about the weekend here, Jason, in terms of that forecast. Again, it's that typical summertime thing. It's not all day.
All right, that looks good, Colette. And I must say, we've been running our sprinkler quite a bit, so the rain is probably welcome for a lot of us.
Yes.
But on the other hand, Colette, I was serious about the fish flies. Those and centipedes are things that I cannot stand. And when they get stuck on you, you pick them off and you kind of flick them away. And, and I just
get in your teeth.
Oh, don't say
snack.
that, Colette. Don't do that. My dinner will come up. But anyway, thanks so much, Colette. I appreciate your time. But hopefully the fish flies will come and go.
Calm
quickly.
down in a few more days. Yeah.
Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Well, still to come here on CBC Windsor News Live at 6, we'll head back to our Jennifer LaGrassa, who will join us live outside of that public school board office where the meeting should be starting in a little bit. But protests are happening now since trustees there temporarily are restricting in-person access to their meetings. We'll bring you there next. And we're going to take you back now to the Public School Board office in Windsor, and that's where we find the CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa tonight. Jen, tell us a little bit about what's happening right now.
Yeah, well, Jason, this meeting and gathering of people behind me here started off as people being upset about not being let into that board meeting, but it's clearly become about so much more. The focus is really about that gender expression policy that the board has in place. So I'm going to take you back now and just kind of show you it's really grown significantly. There's got to be at least 100 people here. The one side there standing by the trees, they are for the Parents for Parents rights group. And so they are very much saying, you know, we want to know what our children are identifying as in school. They were very much saying, you know, there shouldn't be any secrets. We don't want secrets at schools. And they just want to know and be part of that conversation. But then on the other side here, we've got, you know, people who are allies, who are part of the queer community, who are LGBTQ, and they are saying, you know, we need to, acceptance saves lives. Being able to have a policy like this will really help children. I spoke with one person who, you know, was telling me that they are queer and they came out here because they believe that this policy can really help people. They got emotional, saying if a policy like this had been in place when they were at school, it really would have changed a lot of things for them. They didn't feel comfortable coming out to their parents at the time. So just a lot of emotion, a lot of differencing of opinions here, and people trying to kind of explain their side to the other side.
And Jen, you said there it's grown significantly since we first talked to you. How would you describe the mood? It's not every day in Windsor we see a protest and a counter-protest, two sides in one spot. How would you describe the scene there?
Yeah, definitely. After I left you after that first hit there, the tension grew significantly between the two sides. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of waving of signs, people screaming, saying, you know, leave our kids alone. And then the other side saying, you know, this is about acceptance. So definitely something very, very tense. We'll have to see what happens tonight. The meeting starts at 7 and it'll be online for people who want to watch. They can go to the website. Jason.
All right, thanks so much, Jen. The CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa there live tonight, and she also did mention security is on the scene as well there, and we'll continue to update this story. Jen will be there, and you can check our website for more information as this unfolds, as the meeting begins, and as they disperse as well. So that's it for us here at CBC Windsor News. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget, news anytime, head to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor, and you can find us on social media as well. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.